For years, LEGO have followed a predictable retirement pattern. A few sets quietly slip off shelves in July, and the big ticket items all retire towards the end of the year. But in 2026, LEGO have ripped up the rule book and everything has changed. Hi everyone, my name's Craig. Welcome back to Bricks and Brass. And in today's video, I want to talk about the changes that have happened to LEGO's retirement schedule. Now, before I begin, I just want to say that these are predicted retirement dates. Nothing's guaranteed when it comes to LEGO, but it seems to me that this is a change in gear for LEGO. It seems like they've shifted their pattern. So while all of these sets may not retire in July or even at the end of the year, I think an awful lot of sets are going to retire this year, and more than we've seen in the past. So why is LEGO doing this? Well, LEGO's doing this because anyone who went to a LEGO store or placed an order at the 1st of January will have seen the chaos. The 1st of January this year, I've seen nothing like it. There was over 300 sets released, things went out of stock, things went out of back order, and the queues at LEGO stores were just crazy. The hobby has more interest than ever before. LEGO are releasing more sets than ever before. So that means the need to clear some space on the shelves. The need to have room for these new sets coming through. And there's even more planned for 2026. So this means some of the important sets will no longer be on our shelves after July. Things like the Dungeons and Dragons sets, for example. That is an amazing display piece, unique, something we've never had before, but from LEGO's point of view, takes up a lot of space on their shelf. Another set, the Pac-Man arcade, same thing. Iconic, unique, something we've not had before, but big display piece, takes up a lot of space on the shelf. Now, these are things that people will want for their own collection, they'll want for presents for people, they're expensive, so people would be planning on picking these up towards the end of the year. And now, you simply can't do that. If you want these sets and you want them on a good discount, you're gonna have to plan now and potentially pick them up by July. So how has this changed my strategy? Well, I've created myself a calendar. I've looked back at 2025, looked back at all the double points weekends, insider weekends, and all the major events. I've picked out the sets that I want for my own collection and the sets that I want for investing, and I'm gonna make sure that every single time I buy them when there's a good GWP on, there's double points, and I'm going to use cashback on every single purchase I do through the LEGO website. So for those of you who've watched the videos before, you'll know that I use a site called Rakuten, where you can get up to 11% back on the LEGO website. I'll put a link in the description below. If you sign up on your first purchase, you'll get a free £25 when you spend £50. So do I, helps fund the channel, and loads of you have signed up to that link already. But as an example, something like the Gringotts Bank would have been on my calendar for September. That would have been something I would have looked to buy in the Back to Hogwarts event. Now it's predicted to retire in July. I'm going to have to change my plan. I need one of them for my own collection, and I think they'll do really well for investing. So I have moved that back to July. I'll be looking for a good double points weekend, a good GWP and cashback to try and get my buy-in price as low as possible. I'm also not going to be hanging around, so I may buy that well before July, depending on the deal I can get for it. And I'm happy with that, because ultimately your buy-in price is the key. The cheaper you can get the set, the more LEGO you can buy for your own collection, and if you like investing like I do, the more you can buy for investing. So make sure as you go throughout this year, you're looking for GWPs, double points and cashback. Another thing that I think will be completely different this year to any other year is the May the 4th promotion. May the 4th was a chance to buy big ticket items, get GWPs and get a good deal. However, this year we have some absolute monsters retiring. Things like the Jabba's Sail Barge and potentially after 9 years, the UCS Millennium Falcon. A set I don't have myself, but if I don't buy it this year, I'll probably never buy it ever. Now, the cheapest that set's ever been is £485. I've only been back in the LEGO hobby since November 24. The cheapest I've ever seen it is £525. That set will rocket up in value once it retires. There'll be so many people like me who'll be devastated if they don't get it for their own collection. My wallet will be devastated if I do get it for my own collection. But these are sets that people will be looking at far earlier than they would have looked at before. They would have always looked at sets like this towards the end of the year. For their own collection, it's a lot of money to put into a set, and also if you're investing, it's a long time to hold on to a set. Buying a set in May that doesn't retire till December is a big gamble, but I think this year a lot more people will be doing that. Also, sets like the Captain Rex helmet, that's going to retire in July, and by the end of the year all of the other helmets are going to retire. The Mandalorian helmet, the Kylo Ren helmet, and for me, my favourite, the AT-AT driver helmet. So again, people are going to be making a decision. Do I buy them now or do I buy them later? And May the 4th this year could be the busiest May the 4th we've seen in an awful long time. So I'll be making a plan for it, but I think an awful lot of people will be making a plan for it too. So if you're wanting Star Wars sets, this to me is going to be the first major test of the new retirement schedule, and we'll see how popular it is, how things go on back order, and if some sets just disappear like the Razor Crest did last year. Another event that I'll be keeping my eye on is the Back to Hogwarts event. Lego clearly want us to spend our money more regularly throughout the year, so I think they're going to put a good deal on during the Back to Hogwarts event. It's often an overlooked event, but even though the Gringotts Bank will have retired by then, the Burrows Collector's Edition, for example, will still be on shelves. Double points, bit of discount, good GWP and cashback, it'll definitely be the best time to buy a set like that. And I think that is Lego's strategy. Get us spending more regularly throughout the year. But to do that, they're going to have to put some good deals on. So I would watch out for the Back to Hogwarts this year. I certainly will. It's in my calendar, and I think we could have a really good event this year. Now, I thought I'd also talk about a set that I think a lot of people will miss out on, one that I think will slip under the radar, and that is the classic TV Batmobile. This Batmobile is due to retire in July. It retails for $129.99 in the UK, and the cheapest I've ever seen it is $124.99. It's an exclusive to Smith's Toys. Batman is obviously mega popular, and it's totally different to every other Batmobile we've ever got at that scale. I think that set will retire in July. There's no real event tied to Batman or the DC theme, and I think a lot of people will miss out on it. I also think if you can get it on a double points, GWP, cashback weekend, you will be able to easily sell that set for the retail price or more. And also, if you're just buying it for your own collection, I think you'll be able to get it at a good deal while it's still in stock and before it disappears from shelves forever. It's one that I'm keeping my eye on, and I think people will definitely miss out on that set and regret it. So 2026 is going to be an interesting year. A lot of big sets all retiring, and some of them earlier than anyone thought they would. For me, I'm just going to watch the market. I'm going to make sure that I prioritise the sets that I really want, and I'm going to keep track of the prices so I know that if I'm buying it, I'm getting double points, GWPs, or the best discount. Something like the Pac-Man arcade, for example, that I mentioned earlier, that generally isn't the best to get on Lego. Argos tend to be the cheapest for that. I watch a channel called Brick Bargains. I'll put a link in the description below. He's always putting videos on every single week and looks at every retailer, Amazon, Argos, John Lewis, because Lego sometimes isn't the best place to get the cheapest price. It often is when you're stacking the cashback, the GWPs and the double points, but sometimes places like Argos and John Lewis can actually be cheaper. So like I said, I'll put a link to that channel in the description below, but I'll just be watching the market all the time, making decisions, planning, and ultimately accepting that this year I just can't buy everything. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you found today's video useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to the channel. The channel is growing at a fantastic rate, and if you could also let me know in the comments below what sets you're thinking of buying, when you're thinking of buying, and what sets you think you can miss out on. It'd be interesting to see what your plan is and what you're going to do to secure the sets that you just can't live without this year. So with that being said, I'll see you in a bit.